Hi, my name is Barbara Schwark, and I'm a neuro-emotional coach. I'm a trainer, author, speaker, and I'm also the president of Clear Intentions International. I want to talk to you about muscle testing and particularly about remote muscle testing. Remote muscle testing is when I'm working with somebody and I'm actually not in the same room with that person, meaning, I may be on Zoom and they will be on Zoom or we'll talk on WhatsApp and I'm doing the muscle testing remotely. Now, muscle testing is a 2,000-year-old technique that is brought to us from China, and it's based on the premise that when I am saying something that I actually believe in, it's my truth, it's my reality, or I'm in alignment with that statement, that my muscle, any muscle in my body will be strong, and vice versa, that when I'm saying something that is not my truth, I'm not in alignment with it, that my muscle will be weak. Now, what am I actually testing? I'm not testing the actual strength of the muscle. I'm just using the muscle to give me indication about where my misalignments are. Now, muscle testing has been around for 2,000 years, like I said, but it was first kind of introduced and rediscovered in the 19th century by a orthopedic surgeon named Dr. Lovett, who was from Boston. And then later in the 60s and 70s, somebody like Dr. Goodhart came along, and he really looked at muscle testing, and we can say that he is the father of kinesiology as we know it today. And since then, there have been a few chiropractors and alternative medicine practitioners that have changed muscle testing a bit. But there are also some people that have looked into studying it and proving its validity. And two of those that are noteworthy are Dr. Daniel Monti, he's a psychiatrist from Philadelphia, and Dr. Ann Jensen, she's a chiropractor from Oxford. So I told you about the basic premise about muscle testing, but what you need to keep in mind is that the muscle test is a cooperative test. It only works when you're okay with me muscle testing you, because I'm not going to force it on you, and it's certainly because we are testing something, the person can always overpower the person who's actually doing the testing. So it's cooperative. It's like an oil gauge, and we are taking a temperature. We're checking to see if it's too hot, if it's too cold, or if it's just right. Now, usually when we muscle test, we are either muscle testing ourselves, which is where we use those, maybe you use the 2 rings or you use a finger, or we muscle testing somebody else and they're with us. And oftentimes it's done by pushing down on the arm. We're using we're using the deltoid with a 90-degree angle. But when we are doing muscle testing remotely, what is happening is that we're using several principles. So one of the principles that we're tapping into is this notion that our universe is governed by laws. And it's not because I said so, it's just because that is what is. One of the laws that we're all familiar with is the law of gravity. But there are other laws, such as cause and effect, polarity, and one of the laws is called the law of vibration. The law of vibration states that everything is in movement, everything vibrates. And we know this to be true because when you look at a solid object under a microscope, you can actually see that it's not solid, it's moving. And we know that human beings are, they're constructed in such a way that we are moving rapidly. We are organisms, highly complicated organisms, and we're moving. And when there's movement, when there's energy, there's usually an energy trail, and there's also energy fields. So since everything is moving and everything is kind of like in the same space together, even though it might be that we're separated, those energy fields are actually connecting. And hence, and I know that you know this already, it is actually so that we are all connected. When you give me permission to connect into your energy field, I can act as a proxy. And so I test myself on your behalf. And so therefore I can get an accurate reading of what is going on with you. So muscle testing usually works when the person is, of course, giving permission and is well and is hydrated. And once we've done some basic tests uh, in the beginning to make sure that the person is ready and is responding correctly to the muscle test, we then proceed and we start with neuroemotional coaching. So if you ever wondered how this works, why this works, this is the reason for it. And hopefully I answered all your questions. And if I didn't, shoot me an email, contact me at clearintentions.net. I'm happy to talk about it. I love doing this, and this is what I live for. So thank you so much for watching, and until we meet again, bye-bye for now.